Yep.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So I'm super excited to have Mike Kessler here. He's actually in my market. He's in my backyard doing deals
Yep.
using the same marketing channel that I teach. And I thought I'd bring him in here and talk to him. It's been fun getting to know Mike. So I met Mike a while ago. You're going to probably have to refresh me exactly how we met, but I do have your number saved in my phone. Is the trailer park master. Um, so Mike's
Yep.
actually a very experienced real estate investor, very busy or savvy businessman. And so, I consider Mike to be a real estate expert of his own. But getting into wholesaling is actually a newer area for him. And it's been fun to kind of help him navigate those waters a little bit. So super to have Mike here, tell you guys about his experience with my coaching and his experience so far and what he's learned, and maybe give you guys some gold nuggets to help you along your journey. So
Yeah.
thanks for joining me.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks, Zach. It's been an awesome journey, and it's been a fun year, fun transition into this new business, and kind of funny to, I guess, explain the mobile home master here. I guess I don't know if I'm quite the master. My goal is to get into some mobile home parks just because they really are cash cows. But I've just flipped. I never thought I'd get into the business, but I've just flipped tons and tons of manufactured homes, and I enjoy it, but I'll be honest with you, I'm really enjoying wholesaling more. We just switched over to a full-time business this year in wholesaling, and I'm really enjoying it. It's had its ups and downs. Right now, I'm kind of in a down, I'll be honest with you. But we had our biggest month last month that I've had so far this year. It was a fantastic month, for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, there's definitely ups and downs. Not every month is out of the park for us. We've been struggling this month as well. It's just part of it,
Yeah.
I really, if you look at our numbers, a lot of people push us out. We still are working right throughout the
Of
holidays in
course.
November and
Of
December, and
course.
we're still talking to people, and we still get responses to marketing, but a lot of people aren't wanting to necessarily take action until January. So our Januaries are usually very large compared to our Novembers and
Good.
Decembers. So stay consistent to it.
Yeah.
Also, the kind of funny is Mike bought me sushi the other day, and
Yeah.
I ate a whole bunch of sushi. You really
Yeah.
had to pay for my time.
Yeah, he didn't hold back, that's for sure. No, it was good. That was good sushi. I love that place up there. So we had a great time, and
Yeah.
appreciate your time and hanging out with me for sure.
Yeah, it was fun. So if you guys that are listening ever want to get my time, you got to come to Salt Lake and buy me some sushi. So we actually recorded this in my office when he was up this way, but we had some technical difficulties and we lost all of it. So we were very sad. So we're just going to do this over Zoom for Mike's convenience. I appreciate you taking the time to do this again because
No
this is
worries.
great stuff. So
No
let's
worries.
dig into it.
Yep.
Kind of what made you want to get into wholesaling, and what your experience has been.
Yeah. So the main reason why, I've been investing. My business really taken off since about 2015. I really started to get serious about real estate investing. So about 4 years, I've been pushing the business. And so we did a lot of fix and flip properties. I've got rental properties. I've told you a little bit about the mobile home stuff. That's a whole nother business itself. So I try to keep that just moving and operating on its own. It generates a fair amount of income. But the reason why I switched over to wholesaling is because I've always found a problem in my business was finding deep discounted properties on a consistent basis. And I'm like, why continue to just struggle at my business and growing as fast as I'd like to grow? Why not just solve the problem, stop everything else, and just focus on wholesaling? That's been my biggest reason why I've wanted to switch over. Plus, I feel like it's where the big money is, like crazy. I mean, we've made so much stinking cash this year. I've never realized how much of a cash machine this business really is, and it definitely is. So far we've closed 21 deals this year, with a gross of a little bit over 300,000 in gross wholesaling fees
That's
this year,
incredible.
which is amazing. It's like nuts to me to think that we did that much this year so far. We've got 2
And
months
that's
left.
pretty much your first year doing it, correct?
Full time, yeah, full
Yeah.
time. I've done a handful last year. I did a few the year before, but yeah, full time. So it's been
That's
awesome. Like,
awesome.
I can't complain for sure. Super
That's
excited
great.
about
That's
it.
great.
Yeah.
So, I know we had kind of talked and I helped you through some things before I kind of had the structure of the coaching company that I have now, right? I
Hmm.
mean, I had some beta testing students and we talked. I actually picked your brain a ton about investing into mobile homes and flipping mobile
Hmm.
homes because I wanted to understand that process and how you do that. Also, we actually had a lead that uh, I remember you had asked me for help, and I said, "Sure, I'll go out to the appointment with you and help you navigate, the negotiations there." And one of my acquisition managers was texting me saying he had a deal and had questions, and he was actually on the way to the house that me and Mike were
I know,
negotiating. I had
which is
no
funny.
idea.
You know,
That's
here
how
comes the
out of
money.
my own business I really am, though. I had no idea that we.
I know how we crossed paths and we had appointments on the same day with the same seller, which is just crazy.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny. We're in the same exact house, and he was like asking me questions about the seller, like how he should, navigate the negotiations and work through certain problems that the seller had. And I was like, "Well, that sounds familiar. What's the address?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
I
here right
know.
now.
Uh,
Turn around."
it turned out great. It turned out funny. I mean, it was a good appointment, good learning experience for me. So I definitely appreciate you as well. So really enjoyed networking with you. And I tell you what, being part of the the wholesaling Inc. tribe and just the people, the investors here in our market, I feel extremely blessed and lucky to get to know you guys because I tell you what, it's a bunch of go-givers and people that are willing to give and help. And I honestly appreciate that so much. It's helped me to grow my business to where we're at right now. I still have a long ways to go. Like it is, I'm not free and clear. I'm just struggling right now in a couple of areas and I'm getting the help I need. And it's been great. But I have to say, it's been awesome networking with you for sure.
That's awesome. So I kind of know the story, right? Trying to guide you in there on it for our listeners. So um, I remember you were talking to me about marketing and driving for dollars and how you wanted to set that up. What are some of the big takeaways that you got from my coaching on the driving for dollars? Because you did a lot of that 300 and how much was it? 300 and what?
Yeah, so I'd have to pull up the actual numbers, but we're just over 300,000
Okay,
in
just over 300,000.
total wholesale. Yeah.
Okay, and then and how much of that was driving for dollars? Was that a large portion, small portion?
I would say it's a smaller portion of it. So we just closed a deal from Driving for Dollars last week. Well, it was the week before last.
Hmm.
So my goal as a business is I want to wholesale properties. That's my main focus, but I still want to
Yeah.
buy 1 or 2 properties a year as a rental, just so I can continue to grow that wealth. The larger picture,
Hmm.
and then wholesale everything else. So I ended up one of my Driving for Dollars deals that we just closed a week and a half ago. We literally just took occupancy on Monday this week. I've already got guys in there working on it, and we're painting it this weekend. I mean, it's going to be ready for rent by the end of next week. So super excited about that. But that particular deal was my best one so far from this change in Driving for Dollars. But I'd like to kind of reverse a little bit and talk about what I was doing earlier this year with Driving for Dollars. I was kind of creating my own little system, taking little bits and pieces of what you were saying and what I could find for free online. And then I think it was about in June or something like that of this year. You gave me time on the phone and you kicked my butt and said, Mike, don't do it this way. So what I was originally doing at the beginning of this year, in about between March to about May, I was doing a whole system with a team of drivers I had about 15 drivers working with me right now, and they were more of like a bird dog type of a agreement that I had with them. So I was not paying them on an hourly basis. I was literally just paying them by a commission
Yep.
when we buy the property.
Yep.
And our first deal that we closed with Driving for Dollars was a really good deal in West Valley that we ended up holding it as a rental, but I did not. We ended up buying that property as through one of my bird dogs. So the deal was pinned probably back in, I would say, May or June, but we didn't end up buying the property until about August is when we actually bought the property. So just a couple months ago. And but that one turned out to be a great deal, and it worked out through my system. But the problem that I was having is I was pulling my hair out because I couldn't get my drivers consistently going out there. The problem is there's no incentive for them to work hard because they don't know if we're actually going to close any deals or not. And I was finding that my business was really struggling. I couldn't get enough leads coming in the door. And I talked with Zach about what I was doing and how I was accomplishing it. Is like, Mike, dude, quit it. Just I learned that hard lesson. Switch it over and do it this way. And that's when we went through his driving system. And I literally within 2 weeks I had my whole system switched over. I now have at the time I had one driver. I now have two drivers going. But now I'm way more consistent, and every single week we bring in an average from 1,000 to 1,500 leads per week, every single week. And then on the back end, we do our marketing, and we've
Right.
closed.
When you say leads, you bring in that many. I want it to be clear that you're adding that many properties to your marketing list, right?
Yeah, these are just not leads, but these are just addresses that we're now marketing to. And then we're then getting leads consistently on a weekly basis. Yeah.
Perfect. Wonderful. Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, that was probably one of my most frustrating mistakes is how to automate it, right? How to have a team, how to have a driver, how to compensate. It's funny is when I first started, I was compensating like 20% of each deal was going to my drivers. Now it's like less than 1%
Yeah.
goes to my driver, right? Like,
Absolutely, which is amazing. I pay
right.
way less to my drivers now than I did before, for sure.
Right. We pay way less, get way more consistency.
Yeah.
And, and they're still being compensated generously, right?
Yep.
They really are.
Yep.
Starting to sound like Michael Scott. I can't even say a word, right? My goodness. But but no, it was one of those big things and something that I shared with you. And I'm glad that you followed through. So many times you give advice and people want to question it, which is fine, but when they've been through the trenches, sometimes it's best just to follow their steps instead of trying to just, cut your own path and trying to figure it out yourself.
Right. Right.
And that's been one of the benefits for my students is they haven't had to test those things that you tried to test in the beginning, trying to figure it out. Right. And,
Yeah, it was definitely much easier. I mean, following your system, we were able to get leads in quicker, get our marketing out there quicker to a much larger audience. And we've now closed 2 more deals since then that have. I mean, one of our wholesales was kind of a small deal. It was kind of a tight deal, unfortunately. We only got like $5,000 on that one, but the other 2. We were able to pick up it was close to about $100,000 in equity just on those 2 properties. Wow. That we purchased. Those are the 2 rentals that came from the Driving for Dollars. I mean, we do have other wholesales that we're doing through other marketing channels, but yeah, through that system, it's been awesome. I mean, it's been fantastic.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Guys, imagine that you find 2 properties, pick them up as rentals, and you increase your net worth by over $100,000.
Yeah.
The net worth is incredible. And I imagine they cash flow very well as well,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So the first one, we have it rented already. It's cash flowing about $400 a month right now. Yeah. And the one I just picked up with it has like $60,000 in equity in it. Where the loan, the reason why I kept it is because the loan is modified And so my payment is super, super low. We're going to cash flow probably 650 a month, I would say, on
Wow.
that one. Super excited.
Wow.
Yeah. In this
$1,000 a
market,
month in passive cash flow.
Utah's a tough market to buy rental properties in. And to
Yes.
find something with that kind of cash flow, oh, yeah, I'm keeping that one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the cool thing about, every market's a little different, right? Some markets you can get a ton of cash flow, but it's really hard to do a deal where you're making $50,000, $60,000 profit on the deal, right? And instant equity.
Yeah.
Inflated markets, along the coast, and Utah's one of them, Colorado's another. It's a lot easier to flip houses because there's crazy inflation, but cash flow is a lot harder. So what you've accomplished is quite amazing, right? No, I love it. I've bought some, and I can't help but keep cashing out all my equity. I've sold a handful of rentals I've picked up from this, and but that's the game, right? Buy low, sell high.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And the ability to consistently find deeply discounted deals, like you talked about in the beginning, is so important. And it's been so fun to help you and to help my students continually have a system that can generate those leads, to really build a portfolio of rentals and flips and wholesales and everything else. So it's kind of been fun to talk to you and work with you, because you have so much experience as an investor, and having your insight of the importance of a marketing system, the importance of a step-by-step instruction, right? I think that you grasp it really well and ran with it and did very well.
I'll be honest with you, it's been tough. Like, it's not easy. That's been one of the hardest things for me in this business. I learned from, everyone that I'm trying to learn from. Anyone in wholesaling, me, Tom Kroll, Cody Offline. I've got big signs in my office that just remind me progress and not perfection. That's all I focus on, is just try to make progress today or make progress this week. If I'm, if I'm struggling in an area, find what works the best from somebody else and then just adapt that. But it's been a struggle. I've worked my butt off to be able to get to where I'm at, and I still have a long ways to go, but I'm ready to do it. And I know where I want to go. I have a vision board that helps keep me motivated, and I know where I'm going. So that's what keeps me going, for sure.
For sure. It is so true that you have to be willing to make mistakes. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable, right? It's a huge part of growing. But I really feel like that's where we have fulfillment in life, right? Like, truly, that like Tony Robbins teaches, right? Men are made to have progression, right? That's what makes us happy. And it's the secret of happiness, right? Progression, even though it's so painful. But once you have those results, you have that success, it's so fulfilling. The other thing that I've learned that's been so huge in my progress and seeing the progress of my students is having a mentor. Like, I have multiple mentors right now with different things that I'm focusing on within my two businesses, my coaching and my investment business. And, in my own investment business right now, I have a step-by-step coach that's teaching me how to negotiate and grow radio advertisements. I want to try radio. And
Wow.
I wanted just another option for generating leads. And
Cool.
Yeah, so he's giving me all the ins and outs, and it's so awesome because I have questions and he's already got the answer, right? He's already has the process. And what's cool is he says, okay, you're going to do this, this, and this is how they're going to respond. And it was like to the T, exactly what he said, right? With negotiating for pricing for these ads. And so one of the huge factors that I see of anyone that's successful in this industry is they can name multiple names or a few names or one name of someone that gave them the instruction that allowed them to be successful. They had to follow the instruction and get uncomfortable by doing it. Right. But there's always also a mentor. So many people think, well, I could just watch YouTube and work my butt off and probably do some deals. And it's like, yeah, you probably could. Mm-hmm. But the cost of the opportunity of just getting that instruction and having more success from the get-go, right? It's like trying to start a fire with just grass and logs. versus a can of gasoline. You know what I mean? You can do
Yeah.
it both ways,
Oh, for sure.
but the
Yep.
gasoline's a lot easier, you know,
Much easier, of course.
much easier. All right. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here. This is great stuff. Yeah. So just thanks for jumping on. I appreciate this so much. And I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Glad to help. Yeah, no, I look forward to it for sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Thanks, Zach.
Yep.